It was a crisp and promising morning in Chicago when Lydia and her daughter, Jasmine, set out for what they hoped would be a delightful day of shopping and bonding. The day began with Lydia waking up early, her heart filled with excitement and love. She glanced at the clock on her nightstand, noting that she had ample time to make the day special for Jasmine. The city outside was slowly coming to life, with the first hints of sunlight casting a warm glow over the streets. Lydia quietly made her way downstairs, careful not to disturb Jasmine's peaceful slumber, and set about preparing a breakfast feast that she knew would bring joy to her daughter. If you are not subscribed, I recommend you subscribe and activate the bell so you don't miss any videos. The aroma of pancakes sizzling on the griddle, scrambled eggs being whisked, and bacon frying in the pan filled the kitchen. Lydia's heart swelled with affection as she imagined Jasmine's delight upon waking to this special treat. Each element of the breakfast was prepared with care, knowing how much Jasmine loved these particular dishes. Lydia meticulously set the table, her anticipation growing with each passing moment. Jasmine awoke to the irresistible smell of breakfast wafting through the house. Her eyes fluttered open, and she stretched with a joyful yawn before darting downstairs, her small feet pattering excitedly on the wooden steps. As she entered the kitchen, Lydia greeted her with a warm and loving smile, arms open wide. "Happy birthday, sweetheart," Lydia said, her voice brimming with affection. Jasmine's face lit up with a radiant smile as she ran into her mother's embrace, her laughter echoing through the kitchen. "Thanks, Mom. Today is going to be amazing, isn't it?" she asked, her eyes sparkling with anticipation. Lydia chuckled, her own heart full of happiness. "Darling, today is going to be the best day ever." As they sat down to enjoy the breakfast Lydia had prepared with so much love, she shared the plans for their day. "So Jasmine, what would you like to do today?" she asked, already knowing the answer but wanting to hear it from her daughter. Jasmine's eyes widened with excitement. "Can we go to the mall? I want to check out the toys and maybe finally get that new book one been asking for," she said, her voice bubbling with enthusiasm. Lydia's laughter was soft and affectionate. "Of course, sweetie. We'll head to the mall, have a nice lunch there, and then you can pick out your special present." What began as an ordinary morning filled with mother-daughter affection and anticipation soon took an unexpected turn. Their simple outing to the mall, which was meant to be a joyous and carefree day, was about to become a memorable experience in ways they could never have anticipated. They quickly prepared and were soon on their way. The sun was shining brightly, casting a golden glow over everything and promising a perfect day ahead. As they drove towards the mall, Jasmine's excitement was palpable. She chattered nonstop about the myriad of books she dreamed of reading, her eyes sparkling with the anticipation of discovering new stories and adventures. Lydia felt a deep sense of joy and fulfillment, knowing she was able to provide such happiness for her daughter. "You know, Jasmine," Lydia said with a nostalgic tone, "when I was your age, my mom took me to pick out my very first favorite book. It was one of the most memorable days of my life." Jasmine's eyes widened with curiosity. "Mom? What kind of books did you read back then?" she asked, clearly intrigued. Lydia's face softened into a smile as she recalled her childhood. "Oh, I read a lot of classic stories. It was a different time, but the thrill of a new book was just as exciting," she explained. When Lydia and Jasmine arrived at the sprawling shopping center, they were greeted by the cool embrace of air conditioning and the lively hum of bustling stores. Jasmine's eyes widened in awe as she took in the vibrant atmosphere of the mall. Her gaze was immediately drawn to a large, colorful storefront. "Mom, look at that toy store," she exclaimed, her voice bubbling with excitement. "Let's go check it out," Lydia said, her heart warmed by her daughter's enthusiasm. Entering the toy store, Jasmine's energy was infectious as she darted from one section to another. She eagerly picked up various toys, examining each one with a meticulous eye. Lydia observed her daughter's joyful exploration with a mixture of amusement and affection. "What do you think of this one, Mom?" Jasmine asked, holding up a giant plush unicorn with a hopeful look in her eyes. Lydia chuckled softly. "I think it would be a fantastic addition to your collection. But remember, we still need to explore the book section," she said, giving Jasmine a playful wink. Jasmine's face lit up with a mischievous grin. "Oh, right. I can't forget about that," she said, carefully setting the unicorn back on the shelf. After spending a considerable amount of time in the toy store, exploring every nook and cranny, they ventured into other shops, each offering new and intriguing discoveries. The hours slipped by effortlessly, and soon, the rumbling of their stomachs signaled that it was time for a break. "How about we have lunch now?" Lydia suggested, looking at her daughter with a hint of anticipation. "Yes, I'm starving," Jasmine replied eagerly, clasping her mother's hand as they made their way to the restaurant they had planned to visit. They chose a table that offered a beautiful view of the mall's elegant fountain. As Jasmine settled into her seat with a contented sigh, she gazed out the window at the lively scene unfolding in the mall, feeling both satisfied and excited for the rest of their day. Lydia picked up the menu from the table and began to browse through its pages. She glanced at Jasmine, a hint of a smile on her face. "What do you think about starting with an order of onion rings, Jasmine?" Lydia asked, already anticipating the enthusiastic response she knew was coming. Jasmine's eyes lit up as she heard the suggestion. "Yes, I love onion rings," she replied with excitement, her voice filled with eagerness. At that moment, a friendly waitress approached their table, her name tag reading Sarah. She greeted them with a warm smile. "Hi, my name is Sarah, and I'll be your waitress today. Have you decided what you'd like to order?" she asked cheerfully. Lydia took the lead, responding with a confident tone. "We'll start with an order of onion rings. For my main course, I'd like the grilled chicken sandwich, and Jasmine will have a burger with fries," she said, glancing at Jasmine, who nodded in agreement. Sarah jotted down their order and replied, "Great choices. I'll bring the onion rings out in just a moment." With a final smile, she turned and headed back to the kitchen, leaving Lydia and Jasmine to enjoy their time together. As they waited for their food, Lydia and Jasmine began chatting about the most fun moments of their day so far. "What's been your favorite store so far, Jasmine?" Lydia inquired, her voice filled with genuine interest. Jasmine's face brightened with excitement as she responded, "I think the toy store was the best. Those unicorns were awesome, but I'm looking forward to seeing the books." Her eyes sparkled with anticipation. "I'm sure you'll find something you'll love," Lydia said, smiling warmly at her daughter. "Today is all about making it special for you, so we're going to make sure it's unforgettable." Shortly after, Sarah returned to their table, balancing a tray with their appetizer. "Here are your onion rings. Your main dishes will be out shortly," she said, placing the crispy onion rings on the table with a flourish. "Thanks," Lydia and Jasmine said almost in unison, their voices tinged with appreciation. They eagerly dug into the onion rings, their conversation continuing with lively energy. But Jasmine excitedly shared her plans about the books she wanted to read and how she planned to share her favorite stories with her friends. "Mom, I'm going to be the best reader ever," Jasmine declared with confidence, her eyes filled with determination. "I have no doubt about that, sweetheart," Lydia replied proudly. "With your dedication and enthusiasm, you can achieve anything you set your mind to." Soon, Sarah returned with their main courses, carefully placing them on the table. "Here's the burger with fries for the birthday girl, and the grilled chicken sandwich for you, Ma. I am. Enjoy your meal," she said, her tone warm and accommodating. "Thank you, Sarah," Lydia said gratefully as she began to serve their plates. They started eating, savoring each bite of their delicious meal. The food was excellent, and the ambience of the restaurant added to the enjoyment of their lunch. "This burger is amazing, Mom," Jasmine exclaimed, her mouth full of fries. "I'm glad you're enjoying it, Jasmine," Lydia said, a satisfied smile on her face. "Today is meant to be a day to remember, and it looks like it's turning out just that way." After finishing their meal, Lydia signaled for the check. She paid the bill and left a generous tip for Sarah, appreciating the excellent service. They stood up from the table, ready to continue their day of celebration. "Are you ready to pick out your present now?" Lydia asked, her eyes twinkling with excitement as they left the restaurant. "Yes, let's go," Jasmine responded enthusiastically, jumping with joy. As they exited the restaurant, Lydia and Jasmine decided to explore more of the mall's attractions. The mall was bustling with activity and packed with exciting options: bumper cars, arcade games, and even a small Ferris wheel. Jasmine's excitement was palpable as she eagerly looked at all the options available. "Where should we start, Mom?" Jasmine asked, her eyes gleaming with enthusiasm. "How about starting with the bumper cars?" Lydia suggested, pointing towards the nearest attraction. "Yes, let's go," Jasmine shouted, running ahead of her mother with exuberant energy. They quickly bought their tickets and got in line for the bumper cars. Jasmine couldn't stop talking about how she was going to drive the car and her plans to bump into everyone else. Lydia laughed, thoroughly enjoying the contagious excitement of her daughter. The atmosphere buzzed with energy and anticipation as Jasmine and Lydia prepared for their turn on the bumper cars. Jasmine, with her eyes sparkling in excitement, selected a vibrant blue car, while Lydia opted for a striking red one. The moment the music started and the cars sprang to life, Jasmine's enthusiasm was palpable. She maneuvered her car with gusto, playfully bumping into Lydia's red vehicle and laughing with sheer delight. After their exhilarating time on the bumper cars, Lydia and Jasmine strolled over to the bookstore, a renowned gem within the sprawling mall. The bookstore, famous for its vast selection and inviting atmosphere, was illuminated by a dazzling array of neon lights that made the store look even more enchanting. As they stepped inside, they were greeted by an expansive interior brimming with neatly arranged shelves, each filled with an impressive assortment of books, games, and various accessories. Jasmine's face lit up with pure joy as she gazed around the bookstore, her excitement evident in every flicker of her eyes. "Wow, Mom, look at all these books," she exclaimed, her voice echoing her amazement. "They do have an incredible selection," Lydia agreed, her smile widening. "Let's see what catches your eye." They made their way to the children's section, a cozy nook filled with colorful and enticing book covers. Jasmine's attention was immediately captured by a display of the newest book series she had been eagerly discussing for weeks. "Here it is. This is the one I've been talking about, Mom," Jasmine said, her voice tinged with awe as she pointed to the series. Lydia picked up the book and examined the blurb with interest. "It looks fantastic. I think this could make an excellent birthday present." Jasmine's excitement was nearly unbearable as she clasped her hands together. "Are you sure, Mom? Can we get this one?" "Sweetheart, it's your special day, and you deserve to have something you've been dreaming about," Lydia said warmly, placing the book into their shopping cart. With the book chosen and their hearts full of joy, they proceeded to the checkout counter. Lydia completed the transaction, and Jasmine watched with eager anticipation, already imagining diving into her new books at home. "Thanks so much, Mom. This is truly the best birthday ever," Jasmine said, wrapping her arms around her mother in a grateful hug. "I'm so happy you're thrilled, Jasmine. Let's make today as wonderful as possible," Lydia responded, embracing her daughter warmly. As they exited the store, Jasmine continued to chatter animatedly about her plans to read all the new books and how impressed her friends would be when she shared her exciting new finds. Are we heading straight home now? Jasmine asked, her voice brimming with anticipation. Well, we could, but how about we make a little detour for some ice cream first? Lydia suggested with a twinkle in her eye. That's a fantastic idea. Ice cream to celebrate my birthday. Jasmine exclaimed, her excitement reached new heights. As Lydia and Jasmine made their way to the mall's ice cream shop, their spirits were high and their smiles were wide. Jasmine, excited for the treat, eagerly chose her favorite flavored chocolate with caramel sauce. Lydia, wanting to indulge herself as well, selected vanilla ice cream with rich chocolate chunks. They found a cozy table in the corner of the shop and began to savor their ice cream, each bite a small moment of joy and contentment. The happiness of their outing was palpable, and they enjoyed the simple pleasure of being together, their laughter mingling with the hum of other mall goers. As they enjoyed their treats, Jasmine looked at Lydia with a heartfelt smile. Mom, today has truly been the best day ever. Thank you for everything, she said, her eyes shining with appreciation. Lydia's heart swelled with love as she gently touched Jasmine's shoulder. You deserve it, sweetheart. I'll always do my best to make you happy, Lydia replied softly, her voice full of warmth. Their blissful moment was abruptly interrupted by the loud, mocking laughter of a group of teenagers nearby. Lydia's smile faltered as she heard one of the teenagers, a blonde girl around 15, sneer with a contemptuous tone, "Look at this, a mother and daughter buying books." How cute. Lydia tried to brush off the comment, but she could see that Jasmine's face had tensed, her discomfort evident. Despite their attempts to ignore the taunts, the four teenagers persisted, following them as they continued their day. The taunting grew more personal and aggressive. "Hey kid, do you think you can read better than us?" Another teenager jeered, giving Jasmine a light shove. Lydia's protective instincts flared. She turned to face them, her voice firm yet controlled. "Please leave us alone," she said, trying to defuse the situation. "We don't want any trouble." A third teenager, with a mocking tone, added, "Oh, the mommy is defending her little girl. How sweet," and laughed derisively. Jasmine's initial excitement had turned into fear, and she clung to Lydia's hand with increasing urgency. Lydia's heart raced with a mix of anger and concern, but she maintained her composure for Jasmine's sake. "Let's go," Lydia said, attempting to guide her daughter away from the confrontation. However, the teenagers were not ready to let them go. The leader of the group, a girl with a defiant stance, stepped directly into their path, blocking their way. Her eyes gleamed with a troubling mix of challenge and amusement. Lydia's mind raced as she assessed the situation, her priority being to ensure Jasmine's safety while trying to avoid escalating the conflict. The cheerful day they had anticipated was quickly devolving into a distressing and intimidating ordeal. "Hey, we're just having some fun. Why don't you join us?" she said with a sly, malicious grin. The tension in the air was thick and electric. Lydia's heart raced as she assessed the situation, fully aware of the need to protect her daughter while preventing things from escalating further. "Mom, I'm scared," Jasmine whispered, her small hand trembling as she squeezed Lydia's for reassurance. "It's okay, sweetheart. We're going to get out of here safely," Lydia replied, her voice steady but filled with concern. Just as they were about to move away, the leader of the group, a girl with a defiant glare, shoved Lydia forcefully. The surge of adrenaline made Lydia's anger explode. Without thinking, she pushed the girl back, her voice ringing with authority and resolve. "That's enough. Leave us alone right now," Lydia demanded, her voice echoing with firmness. The situation spiraled out of control almost instantly. The teenagers closed in around Lydia and Jasmine. Their aggressive presence was overwhelming. One of the teenagers lunged toward Jasmine, attempting to pull her away from her mother. Lydia's protective instincts kicked into overdrive. With a powerful shove, she knocked the group's leader to the ground, her actions fueled by a fierce determination to safeguard her daughter. "Mom!" Jasmine screamed, her voice trembling with fear. Before Lydia could fully grasp the chaos unfolding, the father of the girl who had been knocked down stormed into view. His face was red with rage as he confronted Lydia. "What do you think you're doing?" He bellowed, his eyes blazing. "You assaulted my daughter." "They were provoking us, and I was just defending my daughter," Lydia explained desperately, still trying to shield Jasmine from harm. "I don't care." "I'm calling the police," the man said, his voice filled with menace as he pulled out his phone and dialed with swift, practiced movements. The reality of the situation hit Lydia like a ton of bricks. She glanced at Jasmine, who was visibly shaken and crying. "It's okay, Jasmine. Everything will be all right," Lydia reassured her, though her anxiety was mounting. Within moments, the blaring sirens of police cars announced the arrival of the authorities. Officers stormed into the store, their presence commanding immediate attention. The father of the injured teenager wasted no time in launching into his version of the events, his narrative skewed to paint Lydia in the worst possible light. "She attacked my daughter without any provocation," he declared, pointing an accusatory finger at Lydia. Lydia's heart sank as she realized the gravity of the situation. The police officers began to take statements, their expressions serious as they tried to piece together what had happened. Lydia's mind raced, desperately hoping that the truth would prevail and that her daughter's safety would be assured amidst the escalating confusion. "That's not true. They were provoking us, and I was just defending my daughter," Lydia protested vehemently, her voice filled with frustration and concern. She tried to explain the situation to the officers, but their demeanor suggested they were more inclined to believe the other man involved in the incident. One of the officers, with a stern look, approached Lydia and said, "We'll sort this out at the station." He then instructed her, "Put your hands behind your back." "Mom, no." Jasmine cried out in distress as she watched the officers begin to handcuff Lydia. Her voice trembled with fear and helplessness. "It's okay, Jasmine. Stay calm. Everything will be fine," Lydia said, her voice as steady as she could manage, trying to avoid frightening her daughter further. She wanted to reassure Jasmine, even though she felt a deep sense of dread herself. As the police led Lydia away, Jasmine was left under the watchful eye of one of the store employees. The chaos and sense of injustice weighed heavily on her young shoulders. Jasmine felt utterly helpless, her heart aching as she saw her mother being taken away. The uncertainty of what might happen next only added to her fear. Lydia was transported to the police station, her mind racing as she struggled to process how swiftly things had spiraled out of control. She was placed in a small, cold cell, her hands still cuffed, while she waited for further instructions. The overwhelming feelings of helplessness and injustice consumed her thoughts. All she could focus on was Jasmine, who she knew must be feeling alone and frightened. Back at the mall, Jasmine sat in a chair in the security office, her shock and fear still palpable. An older mall employee, Mrs. Thompson, tried to offer some comfort to the distraught girl. "It's going to be okay, kid, Mrs. Thompson said soothingly, her voice gentle as she tried to reassure Jasmine. "We'll call your mom or a relative as soon as possible." "I just want my mom back," Jasmine replied, her eyes brimming with tears. Her voice quivered with the pain of separation. "I understand, Mrs. Thompson said empathetically. "We'll get this sorted out as quickly as we can." She picked up the phone and began dialing, hoping to reach Jasmine's grandmother and provide the girl with some sense of stability. At the police station, Lydia was eventually escorted to an interrogation room where she was introduced to a state-appointed attorney. The attorney, a young woman named Emily Clark, entered the room with a confident demeanor and introduced herself. "Miss Parker, my name is Emily Clark. I'm here to help you," she said, taking a seat across from Lydia and offering a reassuring smile. "Thank you," Lydia said gratefully, her voice tinged with worry. "I'm concerned about my daughter. She's alone at the mall, and I'm afraid she might be scared." Emily listened attentively, her expression reflecting empathy and determination to assist Lydia in resolving the situation. "I understand. I'll do my best to resolve this quickly. Please tell me exactly what happened," Emily requested. Lydia took a deep breath and began recounting the events in detail. She described how she and Jasmine had excitedly entered the bookstore, their joy at the vast array of books, and the moment Jasmine had spotted the series she wanted. Lydia then explained the incident involving the teenager who had provoked Jasmine, leading to a heated confrontation that resulted in her arrest. Emily listened intently, jotting down notes as Lydia spoke. "It sounds like this is a case of self-defense, aimed at protecting your daughter," Emily said, her tone reassuring. "We'll work on this and ensure the situation is handled properly." As Emily spoke, Jasmine's grandmother, Lisa, arrived at the mall, visibly anxious and concerned. Her eyes scanned the crowd until she spotted Jasmine in the security office. She rushed over and enveloped her granddaughter in a tight hug. "Jasmine, sweetheart, are you okay?" Lisa asked, her voice trembling as she held Jasmine's face gently in her hands. "Grandma, they took Mom away. They said she hit a girl, but the girl started it," Jasmine replied, her voice choked with tears. "It's going to be okay, Jasmine. I'll make sure we get this sorted out," Lisa said, her voice calm but firm as she tried to comfort her distressed granddaughter. With Jasmine by her side, Lisa headed to the police station, determined to clear Lydia's name. Once there, she met with Emily, who provided an update on the situation. "Your daughter is facing charges of assault," Emily explained, "but from what I've gathered, it appears to be a case of self-defense. We'll work to resolve this as swiftly as possible." "Thank you for your help. I just want this to be over," Lisa said, gripping Jasmine's hand tightly for support. "I'll speak with the officer in charge right away," Emily assured them before heading to the officer's office. While Lisa waited, she did her best to comfort Jasmine, speaking words of reassurance and hoping to ease her anxiety. After a short while, Emily returned with a hopeful expression. "I spoke with the officer. They've decided to release Lydia on bail while they continue their investigation. We'll be able to bring her home soon," Emily said, her smile offering a glimmer of relief. Jasmine released a sigh of relief as she embraced her grandmother, the tension of the previous hours finally easing. "Thank you, Miss Clark," Lisa said, her voice trembling slightly, feeling a heavy burden lift from her shoulders. Moments later, Lydia was released from the police station, her expression a mix of relief and exhaustion as she spotted Lisa and Jasmine waiting for her. Jasmine's face lit up with joy, and she rushed into her mother's arms, hugging her tightly. "Mom, I knew you'd come back," Jasmine said, her voice quivering with both relief and emotion. Her eyes were bright with tears of happiness as she clung to Lydia. "It's all right now, sweetheart," Lydia reassured her, enveloping Jasmine in a warm embrace. "Let's go home." She hugged Lisa as well, grateful for her support. They left the police station together, the weight of the day's events still lingering but softened by their reunion. Back at home, Lydia sank into the couch, feeling the exhaustion of the day's trials wash over her. Lisa moved to the kitchen to prepare tea, while Jasmine stayed close by, her small hand firmly clasping her mother's. "Mom, are they going to take you away again?" Jasmine asked, her voice tinged with worry as she looked up at Lydia with anxious eyes. "No, sweetheart, we're together now," Lydia said, trying to offer comfort despite her weariness. "We're going to figure this out and resolve it." Lisa soon reappeared with 3 steaming mugs of tea, distributing them with a determined expression. "We're going to figure out how to prove you were defending yourself," she said, her resolve unwavering. "We won't let this injustice go unchallenged." "Thank you, Mom," Lydia said gratefully, taking a sip of her tea as the warmth of the beverage seemed to ease her tension. "I'm going to need all the help I can get." The next morning, Lydia and Lisa met with Emily, their attorney, in her small office. The room was cluttered with piles of documents and notes related to the case, a tangible representation of the legal battle ahead. Emily greeted them with a focused expression. "We need to gather witnesses who can corroborate your version of the events," she explained. "We also need to secure the security camera footage from the bookstore to provide a clear account of what happened." "We'll get the footage," Lisa confirmed. "What else do we need to do?" Emily flipped through her notes, her brow furrowed in concentration. "We need to establish a timeline of events and gather any additional evidence that supports your claim of self-defense. We must present a comprehensive and accurate account of what occurred." "We'll do whatever it takes," Lydia said resolutely, feeling a renewed sense of determination. Despite the challenges ahead, she was ready to face them head-on with the support of her family and legal team. Together, they would navigate the aftermath of the tumultuous day and work towards justice and resolution. "We need to speak with the store manager and see if they're willing to cooperate. Additionally, any witnesses who were present could be crucial," Emily advised, her tone resolute and focused. Determined to resolve the issue, Lydia and Lisa returned to the mall to meet with the bookstore manager. They were greeted by Ms. Reynolds, a middle-aged woman with a warm yet professional demeanor, who invited them into her office. "Miss Reynolds, we're here to ask for your assistance," Lisa began, her voice steady. "The security cameras in your store have footage that could prove Lydia was only defending herself during the incident." Ms. Reynolds nodded with understanding. "I see. I'm more than willing to help. Let's see what we can find on the security cameras," she said, reaching for the phone to contact the mall security manager. As they waited for the security manager to arrive, Lydia's eyes wandered around the bookstore, her mind replaying the traumatic events that had unfolded there. The memories were painful, but she clung to the hope that the footage would provide clarity. Eventually, the security manager arrived with the requested camera footage. He set up the equipment and began to play the video for Lydia, Lisa, and Miss Reynolds. The footage captured the entire sequence of events. The recording showed the teenagers' provocative behavior, Lydia's defensive reactions, and the escalation that led to the confrontation. It was undeniable that Lydia had been trying to protect her daughter throughout the ordeal. "This is perfect," Emily said, her expression reflecting relief and determination as she copied the footage. "We need to present this to the police." "Thank you so much for your assistance, Ms. Reynolds," Lydia said, feeling a mix of gratitude and relief. "You're welcome. I hope this footage helps to resolve the issue," Ms. Reynolds replied, offering a sympathetic smile. Armed with the footage, Emily promptly met with the police officer in charge of the case, presenting the evidence. The review of the footage demonstrates that Lydia was acting in self-defense, Emily stated, her voice firm and assertive. The officer reviewed the footage with a scrutinizing gaze. "We'll need to reevaluate the case based on this new evidence," he said. "This changes the perspective on the situation." The following week, Lydia was summoned to a hearing. With her were Lisa, Jasmine, and Emily, all standing by her side for support. The lawyer representing the father of the assaulted teenager was also present, though his confidence appeared diminished in light of the new evidence. During the hearing, Emily presented the security camera footage and called upon witnesses, including store employees who corroborated Lydia's account of the events. Their testimonies further validated Lydia's defense. "It's clear from the evidence that Miss Parker was merely defending her daughter from a threatening and aggressive situation," Emily argued passionately in her closing statement. The room was quiet as the evidence was reviewed and the arguments were made. Lydia held on to the hope that the truth would prevail, knowing that the footage and witness testimonies had painted a clear picture of the events. The judge, after carefully reviewing the evidence and hearing all the testimonies, finally made his decision. He addressed everyone in the courtroom with a firm voice. Based on the evidence presented, it is clear that Ms. Parker acted in self-defense. The assault charges are hereby dropped, the judge declared, his tone conveying the seriousness of the matter. Lydia released a deep sigh of relief, a mixture of gratitude and exhaustion washing over her. She embraced Lisa and Jasmine tightly, feeling the weight of the injustice that had nearly shattered their lives lifted from her shoulders. The resolution of their harrowing ordeal brought a sense of closure and hope for the future. "Thank you so much, Emily. We couldn't have navigated through this without your help," Lydia said earnestly as she shook the lawyer's hand, her voice filled with heartfelt appreciation. Emily responded with a warm smile, her eyes reflecting the satisfaction of having made a positive impact. "It was my pleasure to assist you. You truly deserve justice, and I'm glad I could be part of this journey." The news of the injustice Lydia and her family had faced quickly spread throughout the local media. Journalists and reporters began to show significant interest in the case, and before long, the story was being discussed across various TV and radio programs. The media coverage sparked widespread attention and debate about the issues of racism and injustice. Determined to bring their story to the public and highlight the ongoing issues of racism and injustice, Lydia and Lisa decided to share their experience. One morning, Lydia received a call from a producer of a local TV show, extending an invitation for the family to participate in a live interview. After a thorough discussion with Lisa, they agreed that accepting the offer was crucial. "I think it's important for us to share our story," Lisa said thoughtfully, holding Lydia's hand for support. "Our experience might resonate with and help other families who are facing similar situations." "I completely agree. We need to use this opportunity to raise awareness and speak out," Lydia replied with resolve, her determination evident in her voice. On the day of the interview, the Parker family arrived at the TV studio, their nerves mixed with anticipation. Jasmine was visibly anxious, but Lydia and Lisa did their best to comfort her. "It's going to be all right, sweetheart. We're just going to tell the truth and share our story," Lydia said gently, her hand soothingly stroking Jasmine's hair. They were met by the show's host, Samantha Reed, a compassionate and welcoming woman. Samantha guided them to the makeup room to prepare for the interview, ensuring they were comfortable and ready. "We're very grateful that you accepted our invitation to be on the show. We want to help share your story and raise awareness about these critical issues," Samantha said with a reassuring smile. "Thank you for giving us this opportunity," Lisa replied, her voice filled with appreciation. The interview began with Samantha introducing the Parker family's story, providing a concise overview of the events that had transpired at the mall and the subsequent developments at the police station. With the stage set, Samantha invited Lydia, Lisa, and Jasmine to join her for the discussion. "Lydia, Lisa, Jasmine, thank you for being here today. Lydia, could you start by telling us how everything unfolded?" Samantha asked with a warm smile. "Of course, Samantha," Lydia began, her voice steady but tinged with the emotions of the past days. "It was Jasmine's birthday, and we planned a special day at the mall, hoping to find a perfect gift for her. The day started wonderfully, but things took a turn when we were confronted by a group of teenagers who began to verbally attack us." Lydia detailed how the situation quickly escalated and how she found herself unjustly arrested while merely trying to defend her daughter. "It was a frightening and deeply unfair experience." Lisa added, her grip on Jasmine's hand tight. "We were simply trying to enjoy a day out, and suddenly we were caught in a nightmare." Jasmine, her emotions still raw, spoke up, her voice trembling as she recounted her fears. "I was really scared, but my mom was there to protect me. She didn't do anything wrong. It was just really scary." Samantha listened attentively, her expression reflecting empathy and understanding. "It's a truly moving story. What do you hope to achieve by sharing this with the public?" she inquired. "We hope to raise awareness about the ongoing issues of racism and injustice," Lydia said with conviction. "We want people to recognize the importance of confronting these issues and supporting each other in the fight against them." Lisa nodded in agreement. "And we also want to express our gratitude to everyone who has supported us, especially our lawyer, Emily Clark. Her dedication and help were crucial in securing justice for us." The interview resonated deeply with the public, generating a wave of sympathy and support for the Parker family. Messages of solidarity and encouragement flooded in, and the story captured the attention of civil rights activists who began to organize awareness campaigns and advocate for changes in local policies. After the interview, the Parker family returned home, their hearts filled with a mix of relief and hope. Although they understood that their journey was far from over, they were resolved to continue their fight for justice. "I believe we did the right thing by sharing our story," Lisa reflected. "The support we're receiving is a sign that things can change." "I agree," Lydia responded, hugging Lisa and Jasmine tightly. "We'll keep fighting, not just for ourselves, but for everyone who faces injustice. Together we can make a difference." United by their shared experience and strengthened by the support of their community, the Parker family was ready to face the challenges ahead. They remained committed to making a positive impact and ensuring that future generations would benefit from the changes they hoped to inspire. After the positive reception of their interview and the relief of putting the legal case behind them, the Parker family's life began to regain a sense of normalcy. Lydia resumed her work routine, and Lisa dedicated even more time to supporting Jasmine emotionally, who was slowly rebuilding her confidence following the traumatic incident. A few weeks later, during a family dinner, they found themselves reflecting on their experience and discussing how they could channel their ordeal into meaningful action. As they sat around the dinner table, Lisa thoughtfully suggested, "I think we should stay involved in causes against racism and for social justice. We could give talks at schools or support organizations dedicated to these causes." She served dinner with a hopeful expression, her eyes reflecting her determination to make a difference. Lydia nodded in agreement, her mind already racing with possibilities. "Education and awareness are key to creating change," she said thoughtfully. "If we can share our experience and help others understand the impact of racism and the importance of social justice, it could make a real difference." Jasmine, who had been unusually quiet since the incident, looked up at her parents with a newfound resolve. "I want to help too," she said with a seriousness that belied her age. "I want people to know that racism is wrong and that everyone deserves to be treated with respect." Her voice, though small, carried a powerful determination. Lisa's heart swelled with pride at her daughter's words. She reached out and held Jasmine's hand, her voice filled with encouragement. "You're already making a difference, Jasmine. Your courage inspires us every day. I'm so proud of you." In the days that followed, Lydia and Lisa took concrete steps to translate their resolve into action. They reached out to local schools to explore opportunities for giving talks on topics such as diversity, inclusion, and combating racism. Their goal was to use their experience as a catalyst for educating others and fostering a more inclusive community. Jasmine, eager to contribute, began participating in extracurricular activities that promoted equality and respect among her peers. Her involvement included joining student groups focused on social justice and anti-bullying initiatives, further demonstrating her commitment to creating positive change. One afternoon, Lydia received an encouraging call from a local school principal who expressed interest in scheduling a talk about social justice and civil rights for their high school students. "That's fantastic news," Lisa said, her enthusiasm evident. "Let's start with this opportunity. The more people we can reach, the better." The following week, Lydia and Lisa busied themselves preparing for the talk. They gathered materials, crafted their key messages, and discussed the main points they wanted to address with the students. Jasmine was equally enthusiastic about the upcoming presentation, and she eagerly contributed by helping to design slides and prepare visual aids. Her involvement in the preparation process was a testament to her commitment to their shared cause. As they worked together, Lydia, Lisa, and Jasmine felt a renewed sense of purpose and unity. Their family's journey, marked by challenge and resilience, had evolved into a powerful force for advocacy and change. On the day of the talk, Lydia, Lisa, and Jasmine arrived at the school with high expectations and a sense of purpose. They were warmly greeted by the principal, who led them to a classroom filled with eager students. "Hello everyone," Lydia began, her voice steady and passionate. "My name is Lydia Parker, and this is my wife Lisa and our daughter Jasmine. We're here today to discuss a very important topic: social justice and civil rights." As Lydia spoke, her expression conveyed a deep commitment to the subject. She shared their personal experiences, highlighting the importance of respecting diversity and standing against racism and other forms of discrimination. Lisa supported Lydia, adding insights and examples from their own lives to underscore their message. Jasmine took the floor with confidence, ready to share her unique perspective as a young African American. "I know what it's like to feel scared because of the color of my skin," she began, her voice resonant with sincerity. "But I also know that if we come together and fight for a fairer world, we can make a difference." Her words were powerful, leaving a lasting impact on the audience. The students listened intently, engaged and responsive. They asked thoughtful questions and shared their own experiences and concerns about racism and inequality. The discussion was lively and heartfelt, with many students expressing gratitude for the opportunity to learn more about the impact of discrimination and how they could contribute to promoting equality in their own lives. As Lydia, Lisa, and Jasmine left the school, they felt a profound sense of accomplishment. Lydia turned to Lisa, a broad smile on her face. "I think we made a real difference today. These students seem motivated to create positive change." Lisa, her pride evident, replied, "I'm so proud of both of you. Your words made a significant impact." Jasmine, feeling a surge of pride and excitement, looked up at her parents. "You were amazing in there," Lisa said, hugging her daughter tightly. Jasmine smiled, her eyes sparkling with determination. "We still have a lot of work ahead, but we're on the right track. Together, we can change the world." Following the successful school talk, Lydia, Lisa, and Jasmine received an invitation to a major conference on civil rights and racial equality being held in the city. This conference would gather activists, community leaders, and academics to discuss strategies for promoting inclusion and combating systemic racism. The invitation was an exciting opportunity for them to continue their advocacy and collaborate with others dedicated to the cause. During one of the conference sessions, Lydia was invited to participate in a panel discussion focused on criminal justice and the impact of racial bias within the judicial system. The panel moderator, a distinguished civil rights attorney known for her work advocating for systemic reform, addressed Lydia with a warm and welcoming tone. "Lydia, thank you for sharing your story with us. Could you elaborate on your experience and explain how it highlights the challenges many people face in our society today?" the moderator asked, clearly interested in Lydia's perspective. Lydia, feeling honored and deeply moved by the opportunity to speak about her ordeal, took a deep breath before responding. "Of course, what happened to me and my family is a vivid example of how racial bias can severely skew the concept of justice. I was wrongfully accused and arrested simply for trying to protect my daughter from a racially motivated attack. This kind of injustice is unfortunately a daily reality for many people, and it underscores the urgent need for us to continue advocating for meaningful change and equity within our legal system," Lydia said earnestly, her voice reflecting the gravity of her experience. Lisa, who was sitting next to Jasmine in the audience, listened intently with a mixture of pride and sadness as Lydia spoke so powerfully about their experiences. She turned to Jasmine and said, "She's doing an amazing job up there, articulating our story and shedding light on these important issues." "Yes, she's helping so many people by sharing what we went through," Jasmine responded, her gaze fixed on her mother with a look of admiration and respect. Following the panel discussion, Lydia was approached by several attendees who expressed their gratitude for her bravery and the impact her story had on them. Many thanked her for inspiring them to become more actively engaged in the struggle for social justice and systemic reform. Meanwhile, Jasmine, motivated by her family's experience and Lydia's impactful words, became more actively involved in her school's extracurricular activities. She joined a student group dedicated to discussing issues of diversity and equality. Over time, Jasmine emerged as a leader among her peers, fervently advocating for education on racism and the importance of fostering an inclusive environment. One day, Jasmine came home brimming with excitement, having just had a breakthrough idea during a group meeting. Mom, I was thinking, what if we started a program at school dedicated to teaching students about social justice and civil rights? We could invite guest speakers, organize debates, and even carry out community projects to make a real impact," Jasmine suggested enthusiastically, her eyes shining with determination. Lydia, impressed by her daughter's initiative and passion, embraced the idea wholeheartedly. "That sounds like an incredible idea, Jasmine. I'm so proud of you for wanting to make a difference and for taking action to educate others." "Let's work on making this happen," Lydia said, her voice filled with pride and encouragement. Lydia and Lisa exchanged proud and impressed glances as they listened to Jasmine's passionate proposal. "That's a fantastic idea, Jasmine. It could truly make a significant impact in our community," Lydia said, her voice filled with admiration. "I couldn't agree more," Lisa added with a supportive smile. "We're here to back you up in every way possible to help bring this vision to life." With renewed determination, Jasmine set out to transform her idea into a tangible project. She began by reaching out to teachers, principals, and fellow students, seeking their support and collaboration. She meticulously crafted a comprehensive plan that included a series of workshops, cultural events, and community service projects, all aimed at promoting equality and raising awareness about racial issues. As Jasmine immersed herself in the development of the program, Lydia remained actively involved in advocating for social justice. She participated in marches, engaged in awareness events, and shared her family's story whenever the opportunity arose. Her efforts complemented Jasmine's initiative, amplifying their impact and spreading their message of equality and justice. A year after the incident at the mall, the Parker family reflected with gratitude on the support they had received and the strides they had made in their fight against racism. They recognized that their journey was far from over, but they were resolute in their commitment to advocacy and education. Together, they continued to work towards a fairer and more equal future for everyone, inspired by the progress they had achieved and motivated by the ongoing challenges. "I'm glad we've been able to make a difference," Lydia said thoughtfully, looking at Jasmine and Lisa. "There's still a lot to do, but I believe in what we're doing and the positive change we're striving for." "Me too," Jasmine replied, her voice filled with determination. "We'll keep pushing forward, learning and growing. Together, we can create a better world for everyone." The Parker family remained united and focused on their mission, their shared experiences, and unwavering commitment driving their efforts to inspire change and foster a more inclusive community. Thank you for joining us on this powerful journey with the Parker family. Their story highlights the importance of standing up against injustice, fighting for social change, and fostering a more inclusive world. As you reflect on their experiences, we encourage you to think about what you've learned from their story. What insights have you gained about confronting racism and advocating for justice? Please share one thing you've learned and how you plan to bring it into practice in your own life by leaving a comment below. If you enjoyed this video and found it meaningful, please leave your comments, like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Your support helps us continue to create content that inspires and makes a difference. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.